Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Yesharala, and
Shabbat
world.
Shalom.
I'm Brother Ezekiel,
And Brother Jose.
and we're here on the Shabbat again. Oh, to Yesharala, to those that's celebrating. I think brothers are doing blowing of the trumpets. Some are doing blowing of the trumpets, and some are doing Feast of Tabernacles. So happy to both, whichever ones you're in, keeping it right now, because I know we don't have it all together 100%, but we doing the righteous acts. Okay, so we're here today again for some more of the laws. We're almost done, and we left off in Deuteronomy chapter 13, 1 through 5, dealing with about false prophets and things like that. We're going to pick up today in Deuteronomy 13 and verse 6 through 11, which is the next law. So we'll go ahead and we'll start that and everything. So go ahead, King.
All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, and verse 6. If thy brother, thy son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him. Neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, but thou shalt surely kill him. Thy hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. And thou shalt stone him with stones that he die, because he hath sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. And all of Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this amongst you.
So it's letting you know as a law. Any of your people, doesn't matter your kin, your friend, whatsoever, and they come to you talking about let's worship other gods, let's deal with these other gods, let's learn their culture, their way, and things like that and stuff, you're supposed to put them to death right on the spot. Your hand is supposed to be the first on them, and then the rest of the nation of Israel to put away that wickedness out of Israel. Now, for those that's watching now, no, we're not condoning that. Oh, my family is worshiping some other gods, and I'm the only one worshiping the Most High. Now they're telling me to do this. Now I'm gonna put them to death and stuff. Now I'm gonna kill my whole family. No, you can't do that, because everything ain't set up the way it is right now. You don't have the high priest, you don't have the priesthood, you don't have the judges that's going to be spoken of once we get into further on in the laws and stuff to judge righteously and things like that. So you can't do all those things. And the Most High, when he sends Hamashiach, which we say Yeshaya, or some say Yahushua, or Yehoshua, or Yeshua, or Jesus Christ, that's all going to come when that time comes. Okay, so it's vengeance for the Most High. He's going to do that, and he'll allow to know what time it is when that stuff is going to happen. That's when the Mashiach comes. Okay, so no, we're not. Once again, if anybody's watching this, no, we're not telling you go murder your whole family because they worshiping some other Buddha or whatever type of gods there is out there. Okay. So, anyways, let's get the next law, verse
12
through 18. Yep.
If thou shalt hear, say in one of thy cities, which the Lord thy God hath given thee to dwell there, saying, Certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from amongst you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which ye have not known. Then shalt thou inquire, and make search, and ask diligently, and behold, if it be truth, and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought amongst you, thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroying it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof, with the edge of the sword. And thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and shalt burn with the fire that the city, and all the spoil thereof every whit, for the Lord thy God. And it shall be an heap forever, it shall not be built again. And there shall cleave not of the cursed thing to thine hand, that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his anger, and shew thee mercy, and have compassion upon thee, and multiply thee, as he hath sworn unto thy fathers. When thou shalt hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep all of his commandments, which I commanded thee this day, to do that which is right in the eyes of the Lord thy God.
So it's letting you know. So the sons of Belial or Belial, that's the word Belial or Baal. It means sons of wickedness. Okay. So what it is you're supposed to put them to death, but it tells you, and this is something in Judges that well, I'll get into a lesson with that later about judging correctly. And this is problem. That's why it says seek diligently, make sure. This is what they're doing. They've been going around telling to serve other gods and do all these things to transgress the law, statutes, and commandments. You're supposed to put them to death and burn down the city that they stay in and things like that. Okay? And everything with them, because they have done so much, who knows what vile things. It could be more than just trying to make people serve other gods and things like that too. So this is a law in itself. So you'll have a pack of wicked, Israelites out there that should have been put to death because of the stuff that they're doing. Okay, so let's get the next law. Let's go to
chapter 14.
Yeah, chapter 14 and verse 22 through 26 is the next law.
All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year, and thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The time of thy corn, of thy wine, and the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of the flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art no able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God have blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand, and shall go unto the place which the Lord God shall choose. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth, and thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God. And thou shalt rejoice, thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household.
So right there, so this is dealing with tithing, okay? It ain't talking about money. It's talking about food, once again. So first and foremost, it says if the place be too far for you to carry all those things, then it says turn it into money, okay? But if you go into church tomorrow on a Sunday and your preacher talking about tithing and your church ain't nothing but a couple blocks away or a couple miles away, you make it there every day with stuff, then you need to get 10% of whatever you spend on groceries a month or whatever and bring that into the church and give that to the preacher, meaning groceries, not money. Okay? So that's what you need to do. So it has nothing to do with money, period. All right? That's what they're preaching in the churches, and they telling you to fear. If you don't give your tithe, you ain't fearing God. You ain't fearing Jesus. Okay? But let's get this right. Number one, where does the tithe go to? The tithe go to the Levites, the high priest, and the priesthood. Okay? Mm-hmm. So you need to tell that preacher or whatever, is he a high priest? Is he a priest, part of the Levites, the ministry and stuff? Is he a Levite? Because if he's not, that tithing does not go to him.
Right.
And once again, bring in 10% groceries that you make of whatever you bring in and stuff, of food and stuff. Bring that in for groceries and food and stuff and give it to the preacher. Mm-hmm. And see if they ask you to come back in church.
Right.
For all my so-called Christian who's still dealing in Christianity and stuff.
Who's doctrinated by false.
Okay? So this is what it says in the law. So if the laws is done away with, why are you still tithing? Okay? Think about it. Anyways, let's get the next law. Let's go to
verse 27. Correct?
Verse 28 and 29.
Verse 28. At the end of the 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates. And the Levites, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all thy work of thine hand which thou doesn't.
Do it without doing.
Do it, Salakia, do it.
So, you preachers out there, if you taking tithes and stuff, and you living in multi-million-dollar homes and things like that, and driving down in these $100,000 cars and things like that, $1,000 three-piece suits, big choir, all this and that and the other, and things like that, and your flock, well, they ain't your flock, it's the Most High's, but your followers,
your members,
are going without.
Right, Khan.
You're supposed to give to the Gentile, which is a stranger. You're supposed to give to the widow and the fatherless. How come your people ain't getting it?
Right.
And then two, let me make this clear too. For those cats, for so-called men with positions in camps and stuff too, that you're collecting this money and stuff and things like that, and people are willing to give up to do the work and stuff. You're supposed to give that back and help the people with that when they're needing finances. So when I'm on Little Demon Book and things, why is your members from any of those camps calling me up? I'm not even with a camp, but they calling me up asking me to make a video, or can you please ask around, I'm in need of some help and stuff. But ain't you with a camp? Shouldn't they be helping you out since they're getting a lot of that money and things? That they charging for this and that and that and this, and you guys are giving while you guys are going without. They sitting back, eating, roofs over their head, not worried about a thing. How come they not helping you guys out? Which me personally, I always help. It's no problem. You know what I'm saying? I've done those for individuals, but my question is, why is your members out here struggling while you living good? And you taking the money from the people, and you not giving it back to help them out with any finances that they're going through in so-called Babylon or around the whole world. You see that? So this goes both ways. This ain't just for Christian pastors and things like that. No, this is also for so-called camps and men with titles as an elder, deacon, bishops, and things amongst Israel and stuff that's sitting there getting fat off the people and things and not returning to help the people out. Shame on y'all. And to you brothers and sisters, you guys still follow these individuals. You need to call this out. That's wicked. That is a law right here that they're supposed to give back to you. And once again, it's supposed to have been a Levite first, and then the fatherless and the widows and the strangers. But what do I know? Oh, brother just mad because he hating because he ain't getting blessed with things and stuff like that. Man, please, don't use that scapegoat. Please do not use that one. Okay? I'd rather speak truth and teach truth than to lie and get fat and rich off of a lie and keeping the people blind, deaf, and dumb. Not me. But anyways, let's get the next law. Deuteronomy 15, chapter 15 and verse 3.
Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 3. Of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall release.
I tell you what, start at verse 1, because basically I was just going to the point where the law is. It's just talking about taking away, releasing what, if you have like Hebrew servants, but then it's talking about if it's a foreigner, a stranger, then it's letting you know what you can and cannot do with it. Start at verse 1.
All right, I'm going back to verse 1. At the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth out unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release.
So basically the Jubilee, the year of rest, or the year of release, the Jubilee, the 7th year. Go ahead.
Of a foreigner.
Now, of a stranger, okay.
Thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall release.
So it's letting you know with the foreigner, you don't have to wait in the Jubilee, okay? So that's letting you know right there. But let's get the next law, verse 7 through 11.
Verse 7. If there be amongst you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thy hand from thy poor brother.
Stop right there. So this goes back into with the tithing again. And this is dealing with a lot of you individuals. A lot of our people out here are in need. And they got their hands open, they in need. And you know dang well in the back of your mind, you got that money or you got the things that individual needs. And you shut yourself away like, oh, I'm just scrolling. Oh, never mind. Nah, I'm straight. That's what you guys do. And then these people are reaching out and stuff, and you guys ain't helping them. You got a lot of stuff coming on to you. So if you think you're getting blessed now and stuff, yeah, live it up really good, because you're going to see that all these people, the Most High's flock, has been asking and in a lot of need. And you guys got the ends to do it and things like that. You're in a lot of trouble. But go ahead.
But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, in that which he wanteth. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be a sin unto thee. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all of thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Thereof I command.
Therefore
I command thee, saying, Thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land.
See that? So let's let you know, if you think of one little wicked thought to sit there and be like, man, I could have used that money for this or something, I gave it to him and things like that. Dude, you in a lot of trouble, man. And these are breaking laws left and right. And a lot of y'all be doing that and stuff too. A lot of individuals out here in a lot of need for a lot of things. And you have it. But you sit there and say, well, I don't know what they're going to do with the money and stuff. And it ain't up for you to know what they're going to do with the money. If they asking, they asking. You just give. Don't worry about it. You know, and some say, well, you're supposed to be wise when you're giving out your... Like, listen, man, if somebody is asking and it's your brethren, meaning your own nation and stuff, and you know, especially they're in the truth as well, too, or not even in the truth, let's just say not in the truth. If you see your people out there struggling and need a hand and stuff, show your good works. Let that light so shine before men so they could know your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16, ring a bell? You know what I'm saying? That's how you bring more souls back on. That's being a fisher of men. Okay? That's what you're supposed to do. But a lot of y'all harden your hearts and your mind to say, nah, I ain't finna help them. Or you still have a grudge against them and be like, nah, I ain't doing nothing for him. Or he from another camp. Are you serious? But anywho, let's keep getting it. Let's go to verse 19 and 20 is the next law.
Verse 19. All thy firstling males that come of thy herd and of thy flock thou shalt sanctify unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. Thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God, year by year, in the place which the Lord shall choose, thou and thy household.
So it's letting you know right now, all the firstlings, just like the firstborn males, belong to the Most High, even amongst your flock. Those, now somebody gets simple on here and say, oh, you're supposed to eat your firstborn sons and stuff too, and your no. Anyways, I mean, there's people out there that would say that, you know. But anyways, no. So you're not supposed to put them to work or anything like that. They're not supposed to plow the field or nothing like that. They belong to the Most High, and He's giving you a commandment, a law here that you're supposed to eat them. They're the firstlings, okay? So clean animals again, all right? So, so anyways, let's get the next law. Salakia. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 21.
Deuteronomy chapter 16 verse 21. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near unto the altar of the Lord thy God, which thou shalt make thee. Neither shalt thou set thee on any image which the Lord thy God hates or hateth.
So basically, it's just telling you don't plant trees and groves around your around the Most High's altar and stuff. And what's the reason behind it? I gotta further look back into it, but basically, just don't plant no trees around the altar. Okay,
Right.
So just don't do it. Stop being Mr. Curious George. All right. Anyways, let's get the next law. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 8 through 13.
Deuteronomy chapter 17 verse 8. If there arise a matter too hard for thee in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within thy gates, then shalt thou arise and get thee up into the place of which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt come unto the priest of the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire and that he shall shew thee the sentence of judgment. And thou shalt do according to the sentence which they of that place, which the Lord shall choose, shall shew thee. And thou shalt observe to do according to all they inform thee, according to the sentence of the law, which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall not decline from the sentence.
Oh, wait. Which, no, you skipped something.
Did I skip something?
Yeah, according to the judgment which they
shall tell thee, not shalt do. Thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they shall shew thee, to the right hand, nor to the left.
So it's letting you know right now, judging correctly, judging 100, no unrighteous judgment, judge just balances. So this is to so-called Christians out here who said, only God could judge me and things like that. No, there's righteous judgment. And according to this, you need 2 or more witnesses to judge every matter. And amongst Israel as well, amongst so-called the camps and things. When you judge something, if you're in a seat of authority, when you judge something, get 2 or more witnesses. Some people say, well, if I don't have a witness and stuff, well, some people have text messages. Some people have cameras, videos, and things. Okay? Record what's going on and stuff. All right? So, diligently find out everything. Hear the whole conclusion of the whole matter. Not choose sides and pick because you know somebody and you're dear friends with them and things like that. Or because it's a woman and things like that. Or because they have a title. Do righteous judgment. Okay? But let's get the next law. Verse 14 through 20. Oh, yeah.
Verse 14 through 20.
Okay. Now, I'm going to say this again. This is the context. Read in context. This is speaking right here on this law of a king. Not every man in Israel. Okay? A king. And according to the law of being a king, the Most High will choose who that king shall be, who will be anointed by the priest or high priest. Okay? So let's get this stuff correct. This has nothing to do with all men in the world. One specific man who is anointed to be a king. This is the context. Okay? Go ahead, King.
Verse 14. When thou art come unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shall possess it, and that shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose.
Whom the Lord thy God shall choose. Not man, who the Most High will choose. And in that order, it was through the priest who will anoint that king. Okay? Go ahead.
One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses,
for as
much as the Lord hath said unto you. Ye shall henceforth return no more that way.
So once again, we're talking about a king here, not every man in Israel. Stop with the doctrines out there. Go ahead.
Neither shall he multiply wives to himself.
Neither shall this king multiply wives to himself. It does not say all of Israel. Okay? I'm tired of those doctrines and those man-pleasers out there. Stop lying to the people. This has nothing to do with every man in the whole nation of Israel. It's speaking of a chosen king. Cannot multiply wives to himself. Okay? This is the law of a king. Okay? And I'm not trying to sound cocky and boastful and stuff. It's just the fact that this is the stuff that's ruining the people. This is the stuff that's dividing our nation and stuff because you guys are not teaching the laws correctly. Christ never did away with the laws, period. Okay? Stop twisting what laws Christ is saying and stuff. He's fulfilling every law and he's telling you what you can and cannot do. Christ never once said that every man shall not have more than one wife or whatever the case may be. It never says that. Matthew 19:3, find out what the question of the Pharisees were talking about once again. It had nothing to do with multiple wives. It was talking about, as a matter of fact, hold that. Go to Matthew 19:3. Go to Matthew 19:3. Because I'm gonna X that out real quick. Let's see what the Pharisee says here. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
For every cause. They're tempting Christ, asking him, can a man put away his wife, to divorce his wife for every cause? And we're going to find out, no. Keep reading.
And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for his cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are not no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
So, yes, in the beginning, it says man and woman, Adam and Eve. It didn't say Eve, Jaquisha, Shanika, so forth and so on. That's not what it's talking about. And I'm going to explain why, what it's going to say in the next verses. So this has nothing to do with multiple wives, period, right now. Okay? Keep reading.
They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so.
So in the beginning, he's letting you know, because the Pharisees was teaching that it's okay to put away your wives for whatever reason there is, not according to what the law says. The law tells you in Deuteronomy 24, for any uncleanliness. That means to be a fornicator, incest, adultery, or idolater. Okay? That's what you could put her away for. But if she's just nagging, and she's just acting the way she is, and she hasn't broke the law, you can't put her away. That's something you have to put up with. Okay? Let's keep reading. But once again, it said, was not so in the beginning to divorce your wife. So the question is, did Adam divorce Eve when she committed the sin of eating that fruit from that tree, the forbidden tree, when the Most High commanded Adam and them not to eat from that tree? Did he divorce her? No, he didn't. Okay? So the law was she didn't commit idolatry or incest or anything like that. Alright? So let's cut the bull out with this whole, oh, no, man can't have no more than one wife and things like that. No, we're dealing with what the word says. Okay? Go ahead, Kay.
He said unto them, oh no, Salakia, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication.
Except it be for fornication. Okay? Look up that word in the Greek for fornication. It's the same thing in Deuteronomy 24. Go ahead.
And shall marry another, committeth adultery, and who so marrieth her which is which is put away doth commit adultery.
So does commit adultery. So if she didn't do any of those things and you just put her away and you want to divorce her and stuff, guess what? You're an adulterer. And then if somebody marries her and stuff, and she's like, well, fine, he don't want me no more, blah, blah, blah. I'm finna get with this man. She's an adulteress. You cannot put her away for any other cause other than it be for fornication, idolatry, incest, and adultery. Read it in Deuteronomy 24. Chapter 24, starting at verse 1 down through 6, I think it is, where it speaks on divorcement. So that has nothing to do with multiple wives. Stop creating a doctrine out of that. And like I said, you guys, you men that's doing that, you're a bunch of Jeremiah 44s. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go read the chapter. You'll see what I'm saying. You doing that, you're pedestaling people because you're scared to teach these laws. And once again, just to let everybody know about the whole multiple wives things, guess what? There's an order in doing that stuff. And number one, how can you're supposed to spend 1 year with your first wife. No food, no job, no nothing, but staying at home cheering her up and stuff. So you thinking about getting 2 or 3 wives and stuff, let alone you can't even afford that, nor can you afford 1 wife. And a lot of y'all get married and stuff, and you ain't even spending 1 year at home. Well, we're in captivity and stuff and things like that. But wait a second, the standards it says that man who marries his newly wife is supposed to stay at home for 1 whole year. But we'll get into that law later on and stuff. But this was just to prove that Deuteronomy 17 and 17 is not talking about every man in Israel. But go ahead. Go back to Deuteronomy 17 and 17.
Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away, neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. And it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priest of the Levites. And it shall be with him, he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord thy God, to keep all the words of his laws and these statutes to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandments to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel.
So it's letting you know that this king has to make a letter of this law to himself and carry it around with him all the time and stuff. Okay? So once again, enough with the doctrines. Just teach the truth. If the women don't like hearing it and the men don't like hearing it, so what? It doesn't matter. What matters is you speaking the truth and the word of the Most High, which he commanded, and Christ is the one that gave this to Moses. Like it tells you in John 5 and 45 through 47, if you don't believe in Moses' writings, how can you believe in what Christ is saying? Or Luke 24 and 44 through 45. Or Matthew 5 and 17 all the way down through 19. Okay? So stop being scared. Stop worrying. But anyways, once again, a lot of that has to do with money too. A lot of that has to do with money. Well, if we teach that, if we teach that to the people and stuff, we ain't gonna have nobody here. You know, a lot of men follow women, so we can't teach that law. Don't even go into that law, fam.
Right.
Don't bring that one up. No. Let's go around that one.
Yeah, because a lot. Most of all these women are the men of the household.
Right, and it's just like you scared.
They're scared of
to tell them this stuff.
Right.
Oh, you better not go get you a second wife. Listen, yo. And some people say, you know, some folks may ask, like, hey, does he have a wife and stuff? No. Do I choose not to? Yes, I do choose not to. Because my focus and study is speaking the truth of what the scripture says and things like that. Okay? So, in a sense, I'm living a eunuch's life. Okay? But I'm going to teach the truth according to what this says. Not what this says. Okay? But what that says. So if you want to act blind and deaf and dumb to like this never exists in here, and then you want to use Christ and try to twist it and try to twist Christ's words when he never spoke against that, shame on you, dude. Oh, because you see one word that says be married to your own wife. You never asked the question that may be that everybody in Israel who was lost, since we're a lost sheep, was going around coveting other men's wives. And other women, wives, were coveting other women's husbands. You ever thought about that? No. All you thought was to teach the fact that, well, we need to pull these people in. We need to fish them. So we ain't going to teach that. We need to get that money and things. And a lot of times that it has to do with money. Okay? But you scared to tell the truth. Not me. I'm going to tell you how it is. You may not like me. It doesn't matter to me. That's fine. Okay? Some folks may not even want to show this video. No, let's skip that part. Now, I'm just picking up after where he left off on here. But anyways, let's get the next law. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 15 says, the Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken.
Hold it right there. Okay, so for my Muslim friends, okay, you guys are going to stop using this scripture to justify to say that Muhammad was brought up amongst our brethren and stuff. No. The brethren is Israel. Okay? And if you think I'm lying, I'm going to show you a clear cut in your book real quick. I'm going to go to Surah El-Ankabut. Okay? El-Ankabut means the spider, which is the 29th chapter and the 27th verse. And if you think this is some joke, here you go. So, I will read this out to you in English. So basically it's talking about Abraham. It says, and we bestowed on him, meaning Abraham, righteous offsprings, Isaac a son, and Jacob a grandson. And we perpetuated the gift of prophethood and the scriptures in his descendants, meaning Jacob's descendants, which is what? The 12 tribes of Israel. And we gave him his reward in this life, and he will most surely occupy an eminent place among the righteous in the hereafter. Okay? So stop that. So any so-called Muslims, okay, if you guys are sitting there using Deuteronomy chapter 18, or excuse me, yes, chapter 18 and verse 15 to say amongst your brethren, Muhammad is not my brethren. That's not from the same nation. He's Ishmael. He's from Ishmael. Yes, we're cousins, but that's not my brethren. Okay? And clearly they say Muhammad is from Ishmael, which is the firstborn of Abraham, from Hagar. Okay? So don't go there with that. Alright? But let's keep reading, King. Verse 16. Or no, let's read 15 again. All right?
The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken, according to all that thou desirest of the Lord thy God, in Horeb, seest of the Lord thy God, Salak of Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, Let let me not hear again the voice of the Lord thy God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And the Lord said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them, and all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass, that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord has not spoken? When the prophet speaketh the name of the Lord, in the name of the Lord, Salakia, in the name of the Lord, if the thing follows not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord had not spoken, but the prophet has spoken in presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him.
So right there. So even I got one more of a little cut for you guys. You go to El Baqarah, okay? El Baqarah is the cow. That's the surah, the cow. It's the second surah, verse 136. And I'm going to explain what this means in 1 second, okay? I'm going to let it play on out.
آمنا بالله وما أنزل إلينا وما أنزل إلى إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط وما أوتي موسى وعيسى وما أوتي النبيون من ربهم لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون.
So that's verse 136, the second surah. It's called El Baqarah, the cow. It says, say we believe in the Most High, and in that the Quran, as they say, which has been revealed to us, and what was revealed to Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob and his children, and what was given to Moses and to Jesus, and we believe in what was given to all other prophets from their Lord. We, while believing in them, make no discrimination between any one of them, and to him do we submit ourselves entirely. Now, the thing is, we just read, in order for you to be a prophet, you had to be from amongst the children of Israel, according to El-Ankabut, the spider, the 29th surah and the verse 27. So with that being said, how can Muhammad be a prophet if he comes from the seed of Ishmael? And when it clearly tells you here in Al-Baqarah, which is the second surah, the cow, verse 136, it says that you're supposed to believe in all the other prophets before Muhammad. So if you claim you believe in Christ and you Muslim, and Christ says, I am the Son of the true and living God, but you reject that and you allow and say, keep teaching in the mosque, and trust me, I used to be Sunni, you allow them to keep saying that God has no son, God has no children and stuff, then guess what? According to the other surahs in here, that makes you an unbeliever, and any unbeliever shall be marked as an infidel. That's in your own Quran. Okay? So with that being said, amongst the prophets is only Israel. Okay? And you're supposed to speak it in the Most High's name. And the word Quran, it just means to recite. You're just copying what your cousins wrote. What we wrote ahead of time, before Muhammad. So you didn't prophesy anything.
Plagiarism at its finest.
And he's talking about he prophesied about fingertips, fingerprints, and things like that.
He prophesies that the spirit goes out of the body, and you can see your own flesh from.
Dude, man, listen. it talking about, and that surah that I was speaking about the fingerprints and stuff. Guess what? It's talking about. It says skin bearing witness of what an unrighteous or righteous person goes through and things like that. So, for instance, it's talking about basically a woman or a man. Let's say they're whoredoms. You know, they're gigolos, they're prostitutes, whatever. If you're doing all that with many people and stuff, guess what? You catch what? An STD. Which some STDs can show and prove skin diseases or skin things done to your skin and stuff to show you as marked as you are a so-called whore. Okay? So that's bear witness, which is already in the Torah already, which spoke of as one of the curses. Okay? So you didn't prophesy anything. You just recited what was written in the Torah, which your book claims to be. Okay? So, but anyway, I didn't want to go on a rant there, but I will do a whole lesson on dealing, you know, with the whole Sunni, Shiite, all types of sects of Islam and things like that. So, anywho, let's get the next law. Go to Deuteronomy 19 and verse 14, please.
Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 14. Verse 14, you said?
Yep.
Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thy inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land of thy Lord thy God, giveth thee to possess it.
So our enemies have done this. Not only like it tells you in Psalms 83, they all created a Talmud to wipe out the name of Israel forever. They destroyed a lot of those landmarks, and that's the reason why we don't have signets or ensigns saying what tribe we're from, or to show, as they say, show and prove that we're the real Israelite, the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos. Okay? Polynesians, so forth and so on. So that's what they did, but we ain't supposed to remove each other's landmarks and stuff to show our inheritance. Okay? Let's get the next law. Verse 15 through 21.
Verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin. In any sin that he sinneth at the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the man between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisitions, and behold, if the witness be a false witness, and have testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from amongst you. And those which remain shall bear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil amongst you. And thine shall not pity. Thy eye shall not pity, but shall go for life. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for a foot.
So you know now, you need 2 or more witnesses to let everything be established and stuff. And there's a lot of false witnesses going around in Israel today. Okay? So be mindful of this, okay? But anyways, what we got? Go to, let's get the next law. Oh, and I'm also going to do a thing on that to show and prove where did Christ lie about certain things in the New Testament and stuff. So I'm going to get on that as well, because there's a lot of false witnesses going around, and people were giving him titles that he never claimed to have or to be. Okay? So I'm getting into all that as well afterwards. But anyways, let's get the next law. Chapter 20 and 1 through 9.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 1 through 9. When thou goest out to battle against thine enemies, and seest horses and chariots, and the people more than thou, be not afraid of them, for the Lord thy God is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
So this is a law. I mean, this is one whole law. This is dealing with warfare and stuff, but it's telling you, why are you afraid? Why are you afraid of anybody? Do not be afraid of anybody. Okay? Fear the Most High and Him only. Alright? Go ahead.
And it shall be, when ye are come nigh unto battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, fear not, and do not tremble, neither be ye terrified because of them. For the Lord thy God, the Lord your God, is he that goeth with you, to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. And the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that hath built a new house, and have not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicated it.
So when you freshly built the new house and things like that and dedicated and things, you ain't supposed to go out to war, period. Okay? Not until after, everything's done and you done what you did, okay? So, newly stuff, but it's giving you a list. This is one whole law, okay? Go ahead.
And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife?
No, verse 6.
Verse 6, Salakia. And what man is that hath planted a vineyard, and had not yet eaten of it? Let him also go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man eat of it. And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife, and have not taken her? Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her. And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, What man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return to his house, lest his brethren's heart faint, as well as his heart.
See, and that's another thing. That's a plague in itself. Like, yo, if you out there doing the work, you know what's crazy? This is the thing. I notice, trust me, I've been in the camp and things like that before. I've noticed every time that I see brothers go out there in camps and things like that, they go out there like 80 deep. Or excuse me, I'm just, okay. About 9, 10 deep. Why? Why are you going out 10 and 9 deep, 12 and 15 deep? Or even 6 deep? Why? You don't need 6 and all this and that. Well, man, something may happen out there. Well, if you're worried about something happening, then you shouldn't even be out there even teaching at all. Period. That's why you go out by the twos, Christ said to do. Always by the twos. Moses and Aaron, twos, went in against the whole nation of Egypt. Okay? So everything, go by twos. You don't need all that cats. If you got that many dudes, they should be learned up in the scriptures, and you guys should spread out in a 5-mile radius in the whole neighborhood, in the hood. Not downtown in the city and stuff. Go where it's really needed, in the hood,
right,
in the ghetto, in the slums. That's where it's needed, not downtown amongst all these other nations and things like that. Go where our people are and it's needed, where you don't see another nation walking around in the neighborhood. That's what I'm speaking of. But I know some of y'all too scared to go there because you don't know how to check your mouth. You guys go out there and you start saying a whole bunch of things to start antagonizing stuff. And a lot of times you guys bring that down on yourself. Getting locked up or cops putting you in jail and stuff because you antagonizing. Just speak the word the way it is. But no, you really shoot forward because of certain doctrines that you've been taught. And then you guys get knocked out by our own people and stuff on the streets because you don't know how to check your mouth. You don't know how to be humble. And then you praise the Most High. See, I got hit right here. I got jumped and stuff. All praise to the Most High. I was doing the work. No. You got beat because you wasn't doing the work. You wasn't following the principles. And that's not being scared or being soft. Okay? That's the problem. But like it says, if you fearful, you shouldn't even be out there. Well, we ain't in battle right now. Man, we in a spiritual battle right now. With the spirit and flesh and blood. So you shouldn't be scared. You shouldn't be out there if you're scared. Okay? Same thing with football and all this other stuff on another level, on a lower level understanding. If you playing football and you got pads and stuff on and you scared to step on that field, get out of there. Because one man, one individual that's scared out there can mess around, you'll get injured, and you'll get your own man injured, your own teammates. Because you scared to put a block on somebody or whatever the case may be. Okay? But let's keep reading. Oh, that was it. That was it on that law. Slovakia. What's going on my little rant? That was 10 through 15. The next law is verse 19 through 20.
On chapter 20, right?
Yep.
Verse 19. When thou shalt besiege a city a long time, and making war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for thou mayest eat of them, and thou shalt not cut them down, for the tree of the field is a man's life, to employ them in the siege. Only the trees which thou knowest that they be not trees for meat, thou shalt destroy and cut them down, and thou shalt build bulwarks against the city that maketh war with thee until it be subdued.
Okay, so I was just telling you, when you go to war, don't cut down every tree because everything. No, keep that open. Everything's gonna be a food and things like that. You know, meat for you and stuff. So don't cut them down unless the Most High says no. Destroy everything. You know, like when the Most High told Saul through Samuel, like, hey, destroy all their flocks, burn down everything and stuff like that, and they took all that and stuff like that. Okay, so you're supposed to, you know, cut them down and burn them and things. But in this case, depending on who you're fighting against and things like that, don't spoil it. Unless it's like some leopards or whatever like that. Whatever the case may be. But anyways, let's get the next law. Now, this is another doctrine that I've heard. Chapter 21. Deuteronomy chapter 21. The whole chapter is speaking of warfare. No, it's not. This all has nothing to do with war. Only one verse has to deal with war. Okay? So, let's get that straight and out of the blue right now. I've heard of these doctrines, and you're still lying and twisting the words. So-called happy campers. But let's go ahead. Let's start at verse Deuteronomy 21 and verse 1 through 9. This is the next law.
Deuteronomy chapter 21. Start at verse 9.
Verse 1.
Verse 1. Verse 1 through 9. If one be found slain in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field, and it be not known who have slain him, then thy elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about him that is slain. And it shall be that the city which is next unto the slain man, even the elders of the city, shall take a heifer, which have not been wrought with, and which have not drawn in the yoke. And the elders of the city shall bring down the heifer unto rough valley, which is neither eared nor sown, and shall strike off the heifer's neck there in the valley. And the priest, the sons of Levi, shall come near. For the Lord thy God hath chosen to minister unto him, and to bless in the name of the Lord. And by their words shall every controversy and every stroke be tried. And all the elders of the city that are next to unto the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded into the valley. And they shall answer and say, Our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it. Be merciful, O Lord, unto thy people of Israel, whom thou hast redeemed, and lay not innocent blood unto thy people of Israel's charge. And the blood shall be forgiven them. So shalt thou put away the guilt of innocent blood from amongst you, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord.
So I was just talking about when you find a dead body in there. You don't know what happened. You don't know somebody killed that person, or they just died of natural death, or who knows what. They don't know. So this is the order that you were supposed to do according to the judges and the priests according to this law, okay? So this has nothing to do with war. Now, this next scripture, this next law, has to do with war. Go ahead, read verse 10, which is the next law.
Verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy God hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seized amongst the captives a beautiful woman, and hast desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head, and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after thou shalt go in it unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whether she will, but thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her.
So right there. So once again, Ezra, in that scripture, when it says put away your strange wives, okay, it's either they're not following the Most High God. They could have been Israelites who don't follow the Most High God, or they were Canaanites. This goes back to Deuteronomy chapter 7, 1 through 7, when it speaks of thou shalt not marry the daughters of Canaan. Otherwise, that would be a contradiction in the law. So the Most High said for us not to marry the sons and daughters of Canaan. Okay? But this law just tells you if you are in war and you take out the enemy and you leave the women alive and stuff, and amongst the women who are captives, if you see somebody beautiful there, you want to marry her, there's a law that says you can marry that Gentile. Now, I'm not promoting for you to go marry Gentiles and things like that. I'm telling you it's on what it says in the law of war. Okay? That's the war part. Now, let's get the next law. Uh-oh. They ain't want to teach this one. Go ahead and start at verse chapter 21 and verse 15.
Verse 15. If a man have two wives.
If a what?
If a man has two wives.
No, if he has one wife.
No, it's two wives.
If a man have two wives, go ahead.
One beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he has. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his.
So, where does that law come from? That comes back with Hagar and Sarah. Sarah was his beloved wife. Okay? Hagar was the servant of Sarah. So, she gave Hagar to Abraham, the wife. So, he ended up born out Ishmael, which was the firstborn. When you read that in Genesis, it says that the Most High blessed Ishmael by making him very fruitful, and he would have certain lands and things like that and basically be rich. Okay? But the covenant was made with Isaac. Alright? But the whole point, and I'm getting at with this, in the law it tells you if a man has two wives, and it's a if. That's if that man has two wives. It doesn't say, man, thou shalt marry a second and third wife. If thou does not do that, thou shalt surely die and be put to death. It does not say a woman needs to be married in a polygyny, not polygamy, polygyny marriage. That means to have a man with more than, a husband with more than one wife. Polygamy means, again, polygamy means a husband and a wife that's married. Both of them have an open sexual relationship with whoever they want. Okay? So right here it's telling you, it does not say, woman, thou must marry a man who has 3 wives already. If thou surely doesn't do that, thou shalt surely die and be put to death. It doesn't say that. So it says if a man, and it doesn't have anything to do with lust. Because if that was the case, and I heard this doctrine, if a man was lusting after another woman and he was already married, explain Abigail to me. Explain Abigail, because guess what? Before David became king, he already had 2 wives. He had both Saul's daughters. And when Abigail's husband had died, she went running after David to be his wife. So was she lusting? No. And was he lusting? No. There's principles that come with a position of certain men and things like that for that to happen. Okay? So stop creating those doctrines that God never allowed a man to have more than one wife. And stop saying that, that's the seed of Cain, Lamech. Stop saying that. You're putting words in the Most High's mouth because your elder has taught you a doctrine to upkeep and stuff because he pedestals you. And they're scared to tell you the truth. Because they figure that if you hear that law, you don't want to have nothing to do with the Most High. That's not up to you. That's up to that individual if they don't want to believe that or not. They're not warring with you. They're warring with the Most High. They're in disagreement with the Most High. And if they're in disagreement with the Most High, they definitely in disagreement with Christ. Because Christ never changed laws, nor did he create a doctrine of it. It is man who is twisting those laws. So you guys had better stop doing that. Okay? Sisters out there, if a man is talking about he wants more than one wife and he's able to do it and things like that, you ain't down with it, it does not say you have to go marry him. Period. And you brothers out there, if you guys are looking for wives and things like that, can you even afford that? And let alone, can you take off of work for 1 whole year to commit to another wife? Do you have the finances to do that? Nah, some of y'all be doing this though. Because I'm not on either side. I'm right in the middle because both sides be lying on each other. One's who's for it and one's that's against it and stuff. You're both in created doctrines instead of just speaking the truth. That's why some of y'all need to practice celibacy. But then you use scripture, but we in captivity and stuff, and it's better to marry than to burn. That's the look I'm just giving you. You think about why I'm giving you this look to men and women on here who's listening on to this. So, y'all want to watch this no more? Coming out from me and things? That's fine. I don't care. That's not a big deal for me. But I know one thing. Show me where I've spoken a lie yet dealing with the Most High's word. Show me where I've twisted any scriptures while we were reading this and things. And this whole thing wasn't about multiple wives and things, because I'm actually will do a lesson on that. But the whole thing is, I'm not going to speak lies just to win the people. I'm not going to cause darkness to come into something that's full of light. Okay? I'm not pedestaling nobody. Alright? But anyways, well, I ain't said we over the time, but we've been in an hour and 14 minutes, and I did do a lot of ranting on, but it had to be said, and it's in my spirit and stuff, because I'm tired of the old sayings of these false made doctrines that you brought from Christianity over into what we are now finding out that we are the real Israelites. Now we're labeling it Christian Israelites. That's what you guys is doing. So, like I said, I'm not chasing after money and people to follow me and things like that. I'm not telling you to follow me. I told you, read this book for yourself. Follow what the word says. Period. Okay? I'm not looking for the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for that. Period. That's not me. I've never been that type of man or that individual my whole life. I'm not out here to look for likes and things like that. I'm not looking for everybody to be like, "Hello, it's Brother Ezekiel. Oh my God, ah!" You know what I'm saying?
The walking Bible.
Oh my goodness. Oh, throw my head wrap at him. Yo, that eye is deep. Man, Brother Ezekiel be bringing it hard. I'm not looking for that, man. I'm just looking out here to get my name written in the book of life and to teach other brothers to do the same thing and sisters as well. That's it. I don't want nothing in return except the Most High keeping His word with me, which He's always going to do. It's just I need to uphold my word and fulfill it through all the things as being a servant to His Son and being an obedient son to Him, to the Most High, so I can earn my name in the book of life. That's it. So, anywho, much love to y'all, Yasha'Allah in the world, and we'll get back to you, be the Most High's will, and we'll keep putting up prayers for our brothers and sisters as is going through those troubled times and stuff, whether it's the hurricanes, these earthquakes, the fires on the West Coast, or any other parts of the world and stuff that's scattered, and through the government and things that's happening to us and stuff, doing the same things. I put up prayers for y'all, and I hope everything, y'all make it through, and y'all go through any temptations and get through it and stuff. Don't let it be a stumbling block for you. So anyways, much love to y'all, Yasha'Allah, and we're saying Kwam Yasha'Allah, and I'm Brother Ezekiel.
And I'm my brother Jose.
And we'll holler at you later. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.